Right, welcome back to Less is More, the system that helps you uh, take control of your life with based in science that very cheaply and very efficiently get rid of the modern scourges of obesity, prediabetes, diabetes, and inflammation caused by too many sugars. So remember, it's less is more. Less is more. L stands for low carb, high fat diet. E stands for eating window, squashing up your eating window. E stands for exercise as well, to a degree. And then stress, of course, is an important one to address, and sleep. So we are still on the E of squashing up your eating window. We're getting to the end of this now. We've already, remember, we've squashed up our eating window to be 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. If you can do OMAD more than 2 or 3 times a week, which, depending on what fits into your social structure, is where 1 meal a day, OMAD stands for 1 meal a day, because that's actually where we should be. But we can push it a little bit. I won't tell if you won't tell, but certainly squash it up to a 16-8 and then to OMAD a couple of times a week. But now, if you can, once you get into this rhythm and you feel the beauty of not overeating all the time, being a little bit hungry rather than a little bit than over full, if you can push it beyond 2 or 3 days, once a month or once a semester, um, uh, uh, there's magic waiting beyond that hill. If you can climb over that hill, there is the promised land waiting for you, and that promised land is in the form of autophagy. Now, what is autophagy? Autophagy means autophagia, self-eating. Right, that's where the term comes from. Now, the history of this is that there's a Japanese physiologist, Dr. Usumi, who won the Nobel Prize in 2016, as recent as 2016, and for his work on discovering the actual method at which the recycling happens in the body, called autophagy. So he found that if you fast beyond 24 hours and you push it for more than a couple of days, autophagy kicks in. And autophagy means your body starts using, because it won't use anything other than dead, dying, or abnormal cells. It recycles them. It takes them apart, uses the proteins, uses the cholesterol, uses all their parts to create new food and to create new cells. What a pleasure. So you're not only cleaning out your fridge and your pantry and your deep freeze in the normal processes, you're actually every now and again spring cleaning the whole damn lot. In other words, you really just take away all the abnormal cells, all the dead or dying cells, let them go, and you use them as food. What a pleasure. You need to kick into this. This is a beautiful concept that we must try and kick into, or try and tap into, because that, of course, has a spin-off of less breakdown diseases, cancers, and all these breakdown diseases. So you're not only having less inflammatory diseases because you're on LCHF and you're on intermittent fasting, but you also take away those abnormal diseases where the abnormal cells start becoming big for their boots and creating cancers. So there's no direct correlation between that, but it just makes sense. It makes sense to clean it out every now and again. So I can just hear you saying, yes, but what about muscle? Aren't I going to lose muscle if I don't eat? That's on everybody's lips, and I hear you. The answer is no. It's very simple. I take you back to where we were. What's the difference between starving and fasting? I'm saying you must fast. And fast means black and bitter coffee and tea and water only. That's it. Not little bits of food, no food. All right, because that makes adrenaline kick in, growth hormone kick in. That's repair hormones. And your metabolism goes up, so it starts using up all the things, and glucagon kicks in, pushes you into ketosis, and uses your fat as a source of food. Then if you push it beyond a certain point, it actually recycles dead and dying cells. So your body is designed, absolutely designed, to not have excess food. What happens when you starve? When you starve, when you're in starvation mode, which means you eat a lot, but just less than you need. If you just count calories, if you just eat less than you need, what happens then? Your stress hormone kicks in. Insulin and stress hormone kicks in. Insulin, because you're eating all the time, you induce insulin, it has to do something. And your stress hormone, cortisol, kicks in. And cortisol is an animal. Cortisol is a preservation hormone. It raises your blood glucose at all cost. At all cost. It's indiscriminate. So it doesn't just go and fetch the glucose from the fat stores. It fetches it from the muscle itself. It eats up the muscle. It fetches it from your bones. It fetches it from anywhere where it can, and just gets your blood glucose up at all cost. That's when you lose muscle. So when you're on a starvation diet, you are going to lose muscle, and you are going to lose a bone, and you are going to have a lowered metabolism, so that when you stop doing your starvation diet, you're going to just bounce back again, and bounce back worse, because if you suppress your metabolism for too long, it doesn't kick back again. It takes a long time to kick back. So that's what you mustn't do. You want to increase your metabolism so that you don't have that rebound effect. So I'm saying, how cheap is this? I'm now not only saying you must eat 30 less meals in a month, you must eat 60 less meals in a month. How crazy is that? That's a beautiful situation, because now you can really, when you do eat, you can have the very best there is. Have the best steak, have the best avos, have the best of the best. Have only fancy grain-fed beef. Have only free-range eggs, because you can afford it, because you're not eating 90 meals a day, a month. You're not eating 90 meals a month. What a pleasure. So now you don't have a gym membership. You don't have the embarrassment of having to pick up heavy objects in front of other people that do it better than you and laugh at you. And you don't have injuries, emotional injuries and physical injuries about all the things you have to try and do. What you need to do, less is more. Low carb, high fat diet, eating window nice and squashed, even as far as OMAD and beyond, into autophagy. And now we get on to the S, stress. We have touched on it a little bit when you're in starvation mode. So join me in the next video when we dismantle stress.